We are looking at a Group C clash that has all the makings of a classic 90-minute tactical war. This is the 2026 World Cup. The stadium is packed, and stakes are incredibly high. On one side, you have Brazil. They arrive with the weight of historic expectations, arriving as tournament favorites with a squad built on elite attacking talent and decades of dominance. On the other side is Morocco. They are riding the heavy momentum and hardened confidence of becoming the first African nation to reach a World Cup semi-final back in 2022. This pie chart shows the objective win probabilities going into the match. The model heavily favors Brazil at 65%, with a draw sitting at 22% and a Morocco victory at just 13%. But relying strictly on these surface-level numbers presents a trap. While the raw percentages suggest a comfortable sweep for the South Americans, the actual structural matchup on the pitch points toward a grueling, high-friction stalemate. The core dynamic of this game comes down to a clear trade-off. Brazil will hold the ball for the vast majority of the match, likely around 60 to 65% possession. Morocco, however, will dictate exactly where on the field that ball is allowed to go. This quadrant plots possession dominance against counterattack efficiency. Brazil sits firmly bottom right, boasting a massive 5-star attack. Morocco operates top left, with low possession but carries elite 5-star ratings in defensive discipline and rapid counterattacking speed. What results is a systemic collision. Brazil has to expand their physical shape to attack, and that expansion creates the exact spatial vulnerabilities that Morocco's system is built to exploit. On this top-down pitch graphic, Brazil's attacking engine relies on their fullbacks, these blue dots, pushing high up the sidelines to create width. The goal is to stretch the Moroccan defense, the red dots, horizontally, opening middle gaps for Brazil's creative midfielders. But Morocco counters with a highly compact defensive block, maintaining a tight central rectangle, refusing to be pulled apart. This creates a trap. After forcing a turnover, they launch rapid vertical strikes into the unprotected space behind the advancing Brazilian fullbacks. That transition relies heavily on Youssef En-Nesyri. He is the target man tasked with sprinting into those gaps and converting sudden chances into goals. It creates a fascinating tactical loop. Brazil's greatest strength, their massive offensive volume, is exactly what manufactures Morocco's highest probability scoring opportunities. Because of this dynamic, the left side of the field becomes the most critical 100 square meters of the pitch. For Brazil, Vinicius Jr. has a specific job. He needs to apply relentless one-on-one pressure to pin Morocco's defense deep in their own half. This puts Achraf Hakimi in a difficult position. He is Morocco's most capable defender, but he is also their primary engine for those rapid counterattacks down the wing. This comparison matrix highlights the razor-thin margin of error here, plotting Vinicius's dribble success rate against Hakimi's tackle success rate. Neither player can afford a mistake. If Hakimi wins this individual duel, he neutralizes Brazil's most potent attacker, while simultaneously securing a clear runway to sprint down an entirely empty Brazilian flank. Time is a massive tactical variable in this matchup, specifically the 30-minute mark. This is the threshold where tactical patience frequently dissolves into urgency. This decision tree maps game states based on the early scoreline, one path if Brazil scores early, and another if it's 0-0 at 30 minutes. If scoreless, Brazil pushes their defensive line higher to force the issue, drastically increasing their risk of a fatal turnover. Meanwhile, Morocco gains a distinct psychological edge. Surviving the first third of the match validates their defensive structure and frustrates the opposition. The longer the clock ticks without a goal, the more the structural math shifts away from Brazil's possession game and toward Morocco's counterattack. Ultimately, we are projecting a 2-1 victory for Brazil. The pure individual talent of the Brazilian forwards will likely break through the block eventually, but their wide-open tactical setup practically guarantees they will concede a transition goal in the process. Watch Rodrigo in this match. He excels in the half spaces, using tight space dribbling to pull defenders out of position and create openings against the block. And Endrick serves as the central threat, constantly pushing into the box and forcing Morocco's defenders to stay narrow and compact. When you look at the systemic mapping, a gritty, hard-fought, narrow win makes far more statistical sense than a lopsided blowout. So when you watch this match, change where you look. Don't watch the ball. Watch the empty grass behind the Brazilian fullbacks. Executing these systems takes a severe physical toll. Running a disciplined low block or maintaining a relentless high press for 90 minutes drains players down to the core. This side-by-side checklist outlines the primary objectives. Brazil needs horizontal stretching and midfield creativity. Morocco needs defensive discipline and precision on those wing counters. This match is a masterclass in the friction between relentless skill and disciplined resilience. In the end, controlling the space is what will decide who moves forward.